Now we slide into the world of entertainment. The man who brings us news of streamers, of movies. He's the culture blaster who comes and goes on a rainbow. Michael Snyder, everyone.
Let's kick things off with another movie based on a video game. These things seem to be multiplying like rabbits with toggle switches or something. Borderlands is not the worst movie I've ever seen. But it does seem like bits and pieces of the worst movies I've ever seen smashed together. It's another adaptation of a video game property, and it actually stars, this is the shock, the superb Cate Blanchett. That's right.
Oh, my God.
Academy Award level superstar. I mean, she was hella in one of the Marvel movies, but that was funny and sharp, and the performance was great. A tremendous film.
What's the problem here, Michael Snyder?
Well, here she's a hard-nosed interplanetary bounty hunter in a crappy red wig. And I just don't, I guess, Kate gotta eat. But also in the cast, Jamie Lee Curtis, whose work in The Bear has been some of the best of her career. She's here as...
How about her in Everything Everywhere All at Once, or whatever the hell that thing was
Absolutely. Talk
called.
about Oscar level. They're both in this movie, Borderlands.
Well, then how can this not be great, Michael
Well,
Snyder?
yeah, wait. There's more. Jack Black is a supporting voice here. He voices a super annoying droid companion. This is a sci-fi thing. It's set on a faraway planet. There's a treasure hunt. And there's also Kevin Hart as a fist-fighting, sharpshooting mercenary who had...
Nice to see Kevin Hart getting some...
Who had Kevin Hart co-stars with Cate Blanchett in a Puerile video game-inspired action movie on their Hollywood bingo card. Not me.
Wow.
Not me. Now, I'm not saying that Kevin Hart is an ensemble cast red flag. I mean, he didn't destroy the Jumanji remakes with his frantic yammering, but he's definitely a yellow flag, and this is nowhere near as good as the Jumanji movies. What's even most perplexing is the presence of modern horror maven Eli Roth, the guy who did The Green Inferno.
Did he direct it or what?
Cabin Fever, Hostel, the remake of Death Wish. He's directing and co-authoring this noisy, repetitive, unfunny mishmash.
Wow.
Okay, so let me just give you the deets and then we'll move on.
Okay. Perplexing is a dang word.
I guess so.
Yeah,
A bounty hunter, played by Blanchett, is recruited by a vicious corporate overlord to find his kidnapped adolescent daughter, who is somehow connected to a lost vault of power and knowledge that everybody wants to find. So, yeah, a treasure hunt. Of course, I'd watch Blanchett read a nursery rhyme in Pig Latin, but this isn't even that interesting. The creative larceny includes copying settings and situations from Mad Max,
Larceny is a dang word.
Star Wars, and it's so lazy and blatant that Blanchett's bounty hunter Lilith actually says the classic Danny Glover line from Lethal Weapon about getting too old. I won't continue the line, but you know what it is. It's probably a chicken and egg thing, but the arid, junk-strewn planet where most of the action takes place isn't called Tatooine or Arrakis. It's called Pandora, same as the Na'vi homeworld, Pandora, in those Avatar movies.
Ah, that's kind of interesting. Arid is a ding word.
Blanchett has the pretty crappy bright red wig. I mean, she could be the mother of Lilu, and her name is Lilith, in The Fifth Element. So you get Gina Gershon and Bobby Lee, right? Bobby Lee from Mad TV.
Both of them are in this movie
They
also?
are in this film as well. Gina Gershon is kind of a madam type, Mae West, come up and see me sometime with your space buggy. Lee has scenes with Hart that seem like, I don't know, a bad night backstage at the Comedy Store. Still, when Blanchett and Curtis were on screen, I didn't hate it. I did, however, think that this was a waste of talent, and I understood the benefits to their bank accounts. May they now be free to do better projects. It's clearly the name of the shoot-'em-up video game that inspired it, but I'm not sure about the title Borderlands. Then again, I did get Border and Border as it went on. So maybe
I get it.
It's a
Border,
perfect title.
yeah.
I saw it in Dolby, great sound and vision. That just made its failings louder and sharper. It's in theaters, but I don't even think it would appeal to gamers if it was on their consoles. Anyway, let's move on.
Wow, really weren't a fan. It's tough with all that talent.
I know.
That it could miss so completely for you. But go ahead.
It just didn't work. All right. I was so hyped for the Instigators. No, Mark, not the alligators. That was that was an hour ago. First off, this is a heist movie, roiling with criminal activity and
loving
also including a comedic element. It stars a guy named Damon and a guy named Affleck, and it's directed by Doug Liman, who has made more than a few favorites of mine, including The Bourne Identity, Swingers, Edge of Tomorrow, and this year's butt-kicking remake of Roadhouse. So,
dude, if this isn't good, I will be astounded.
Damon and Affleck play two types of working-class guys.
Oh, my
decent
God.
ex-military
Please
guy,
tell me this is good.
Rory, and feckless ex-con Cobby, and they're caught
Feckless is a ding word.
They're caught up in robbing the election night party of a corrupt and deeply entrenched Boston mayor. Oh, I forgot to tell you. That's Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. Since Ben Affleck, who was a producer on the film, was probably, I don't know, wrapped up in a new divorce proceeding or something.
How dare you bring his personal life into this?
Well,
it's beneath you.
I can't help myself. What a supporting cast. Hong Chow as Rory's VA psychotherapist. Alfred Molina as a baker who was also a mid-level mobster. Michael Stolbarg as the the baker's mob boss. Ron Perlman as the amoral mayor. Ving Rhames as a cop in the mayor's pocket. And the great British actor Toby Jones as the mayor's counsel. Wow. Too bad they're let down by a pedestrian script.
Oh, no! You're kidding again? All that pedigree and then...
I wanted zingers, Mark. The comedy was flat. I wanted a nail-biting heist. The excitement level was minimal. Okay. It's certainly not terrible. Like I said, the Matt Damon, Casey Affleck back and forth is enjoyable. They have good chemistry. The banter is still good with brother Casey, same as it is with Ben when Damon works with him. But on the whole, it's kind of perfunctory and short on emotional impact
is a ding word.
and thrills when it needed to be tense or rollicking or surprising. In other words, it's nobody's best work. Still, if you have Apple TV, as of today, it's on Apple TV. So, you can make up your own mind. It's not terrible.
Well, you know what? I am making up my own mind. Just I'm picking up that challenge, and I'm going to watch it tonight.
All right.
And I you know what? If I disagree with you, I intend to send you a very angry text in capital letters.
But remember, I said not terrible. It's going to be on all the posters. Okay. Not terrible. Michael Snyder, The Mark Thompson Show. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk Cuckoo. This week's designated horror movie, which actually incorporates mystery and science fiction. It stars Dan Stevens, a fine British actor with masterpiece theater bona fides. He was the aristocratic Matthew Crawley on Downton Abbey.
Oh, yes.
For example. He's also made himself at home with genre work, like starring in Marvel's super hallucinogenic Legion series and co-starring in the very good recent vampire ballerina movie Abigail. In Cuckoo, he plays Mr. Koenig, a solicitous but sinister owner of an alpine resort in Germany, where he is also pursuing his passion as a nature lover in conjunction with a nearby clinic and research team, of course. Yeah, when you hear clinic and it's a horror movie, you start to get a little uneasy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So against her will, Gretchen, a sullen 17-year-old girl played with a delightfully punky sneer by actress Hunter Schafer, is moving from America to a new home in the Alps with her father, stepmother, and her mute stepsister. Dad is employed by Mr. Koenig, who offers Gretchen a job as a clerk at his resort, and she's not crazy about any of this. And she gets even less pleased with her new situation when she starts hearing weird sounds from the woods and seeing odd things around her. Creeping, dread-inducing horror movie stuff. You know what I'm talking about.
Wow.
By the way, you may know Hunter Schafer from Euphoria. Anyway, terrific actress.
Okay.
Anyway, what's Mr. Koenig's interest in Gretchen and her family? That would be telling. In any case, I liked Cuckoo a lot, to a point. Written and directed in very stylish fashion by Tillman Singer. It's freaky and frantic, even if it's not particularly frightening, other than a couple of jump scare moments. My big caveat is that the third act gets confusing in regards to the movie's mythology and the antagonist's ultimate goal, which kind of diminishes its impact. I mean, I didn't mind the weird journey until that point. I just need stories to kind of make sense on their own terms, and that requires efficient world building, which is where Cuckoo fell a bit short. No matter. Stevens whacked out Mr. Koenig was reason enough to get Cuckoo, so to speak.
Wow.
It is.
So you kind of liked this one.
I did. It just let me down a little bit.
But it is horror.
Of a sort.
Of a sort, but it's not gory horror. It sounds like it's more psychological horror.
Yeah, it is. But there are science fictional elements and mystery aspects to it. So it's not that simple to just say it's a horror movie.
All right.
Okay, let's move on to something a little more grounded. I mean, in a lot of ways. Good One is so simple in its storytelling and so satisfyingly visual and so gratifying in its performances and its execution while addressing complex relationships and feelings. It's a bit of a rarity. I mean, this first feature film, written and directed by India Donaldson, is about a 3-day hiking expedition in the scenic Catskills, undertaken by a professionally successful and somewhat bohemian New Yorker named Chris, with his college-bound 17-year-old daughter Sam and his longtime friend Matt. Matt is an actor scrambling for roles and dealing with being a single parent after a divorce. And in fact, Matt's son is supposed to join them on the Catskills run, but he bails out, changing the dynamic between the 3 remaining hikers. And that makes for some very interesting and revealing moments.
So it's Matt, Sam, and who?
Matt, Sam, and Chris.
Okay.
So over the course of the trip...
Sam is a woman.
Is a 17-year-old girl. Yeah.
Okay.
Over the course of the trip, I guess it's short for Samantha. Over the course of the trip,
Thank you.
The bonds of friendship fray a little bit. I mean, these guys have been friends for a long time, but clearly they are kind of delicate around one another regarding certain aspects.
Sure, I'll ding
lives.
Fray. Fray's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
The trust between father and daughter is broken a little bit. This movie is subtle while being deep, and it's helped by impressive naturalistic performances by Lily Collius as Sam. I'd not seen her before. She's quite good as the kid. That reliable pro, James LeGros as Chris, and Danny McCarthy as Matt. It's in selected theaters. I give a Good One high recommendations, high marks.
Wow.
Well done.
Okay.
It also doesn't, it's not a big, overwhelming film. It's an intimate film on many levels, despite being set in the beautiful territory of the Catskills.
It takes on relationships and complex aspects to those relationships. Isn't that what you said?
I am.
Okay.
I am
You're standing
totally
by
on board with that. Yes,
Okay.
That's it.
That is your testimony, sir.
Yes, sir. It is.
What's next?
Directed by James Marsh, Dance First is the largely black and white, time-shifting, slightly surreal biopic about Samuel Beckett, an innovative writer who was eventually honored as a Nobel Prize-winning playwright. As most literary luminaries know, Beckett was the man who wrote the seminal Theater of the Absurd play Waiting for Godot.
Sure, seminal and luminary both, please.
But as Dance First reveals, his life was considerably more than that play. In fact, it was informed by the coldness of his mother, the kindness of his father, his salad days in Paris as an assistant to the beloved and prickly Irish literary legend James Joyce, the guy who wrote Ulysses, among other things. And Beckett also had a risky stint as a member of the French resistance in World War II. And so we learn about a lot of this in Dance First. But as Dance First suggests, he was also an adulterer whose relationships with the opposite sex were problematic.
Oh, please, that's not. With the applause for the adultery. My goodness.
And
I'm sorry,
He
everyone.
was burdened by self-loathing.
Tony, please. I mean, that's very surprising from you.
Thanks, Tony.
Gabriel Byrne is terrific as the elder Beckett. Aidan Gillen is also fine as James Joyce, as are the veteran French actress Sandrine Bonnaire as Beckett's wife Suzanne, and Maxine Peake as his lover and sounding board Barbara Bray. There's kind of a surreal framing device here, courtesy of screenwriter Neil Forsyth, wherein Beckett converses with himself in a strange cross between, I don't know, like a stone cave and a temple of the mind, I guess. No quibbles with the performances, the cinematography, or the direction, but the script never really tells us that much about the nature of his work and how that was impacted by his life. It's all by implication, I guess. But I did learn a lot about Beckett that I did not previously know. And Byrne, Gillen, Bonaire, and Peake are so good. And that's enough to make the experience of watching Dance First very worthwhile for me. It's in select theaters this weekend and available for streaming next Friday. Dance First.
Very good. Keep going, kid.
Okay, I'm going to squeeze in another
real quick
film here. Ian Glenn of TV's Game of Thrones and Titans and numerous other dramatic endeavors stars in The Last Front, a pretty decent World War I drama set in and around a Belgian village being overrun by the Kaiser's forces. That would be the Germans. Glenn plays a local farmer named Leonard Lambert, a staunch man determined to protect his daughter and son from the invaders. And meanwhile, the son is involved with a pretty local girl who is the daughter of the rich, snobby town doctor and thus above the farmer boy's station in life. You know, at least that's what Leonard thinks, which causes a little bit of friction there. The relationship, by the way, which is endearing, is going to be the least of Leonard's worries with those nasty Huns on the march.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was honor in war, and certain rules of decorum followed by gentlemen soldiers, if you will. The commander of the German unit in this movie is old school and somewhat decent in that regard, but to his regret, one of the officers under him is his son, who is a total sadist.
Oh, no.
He's not quite a Nazi, but around a decade or so removed from being in the Reich place at the Reich time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my God, do I ever.
Anyway,
I just really don't even know what to...
Oh, my God.
Your clash with Lambert and his family is inevitable. I thought The Last Front, which was written and directed by Julian Hayat Kirknawi, decent of kind, unlike that vicious German officer, not decent at all.
Oh, so you did like it, The Last Front?
I thought it was okay.
Right.
It's not ground shaking, but I thought it was made with a lot of attention to detail and a lot of compassion, and there are emotional elements to it that I was caught up in. It is in select theaters. I just want to say in closing and quickly, because our friend Tim Sika turned me onto it, there is a documentary out now called Made in England, the films of Powell and Pressburger. And it is riveting, dazzling, and educational. The great filmmaker Martin Scorsese takes us on a journey through a number of the most memorable and classic movies ever made, including The Red Shoes, A Matter of Life and Death, and Black Narcissus, while introducing us to the visionaries who teamed up to make those classics, Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger. Their relationship, their history, their work is absolutely fascinating, and given its due in Made in England, which is in select theaters, and I think it's going to play very, very well on video, too.
Oh, good, yeah, because I'd like to see it, but I'm not going to the theater to see it. The films of Powell and Pressburger, Made in England, it's called. Riveting and dazzling, says Michael, and informative.
Yeah, man, I love those films. If you've seen A Matter of Life and Death, which was remade as Heaven Can Wait with Warren Beatty, but the original stars David Niven and Kim Hunter. It's a World War II drama that gets incredibly fantastical, and it's just a fabulous film.
So we'll check it out. Made in England, the films of Powell and Pressburger. The Last Front with Ian Glenn from Game of Thrones. Plays the local farmer protecting his family from German invasion from the Kaiser armies.
And
yes. The son, as it turns out, is the real sadist in this film.
Well, not his son, but the son of the Nazi commander.
Oh.
I'm Nazi. Oh, my God. No, they're not Nazis. It's World War I.
No, he's not. But he has the dark heart of a Nazi.
Yeah, he's a proto-Nazi, I think.
Yeah, proto-Nazi. Very good. Anyway, he likes it.
Yeah.
The Last Front, it's called, and it is in theaters. Dance First, directed by James Marsh, the biopic about Samuel Beckett with Gabriel Byrne and others. He really liked that. He felt that there was enough in a biographical way, and also you tell a story of, well, do I use the A word again? A story of adultery. There, I said it. I mean, I'm sorry, Tony, again, with the...
and I have to say, I wasn't over the moon, like I sometimes can be, but I thought it was so much a lovely introduction to Beckett's life, more so than his work, and it was well acted and well shot.
Very nice. So that's, again, that's Dance First.
Yeah, conditional positive for that, and The Last Front.
And good one. Grounded. Complex relationships, feelings with these three people. They're in the wilderness. They're on a 3-day trek of some kind, from what I could tell.
Yeah.
Matt and Sam, the 17-year-old young girl, and Chris. It's directed by James, what is his name? Legros?
No,
Legros?
James Legros is in it, but it's directed by...
Well, who directed it, Michael? I need to know who directed it.
A charming, I assume, young woman. Maybe not so charming, because she sort of nails this down. The director of this film is India Donaldson, and it is her first movie, and it's
You
so
really liked it,
assured.
though.
It's so assured. It's actually my favorite film of everything we've talked about, other than the documentary about Powell and Pressburger.
Wow. And then CUCKOO. CUCKOO, the teen who moves to the Alps or something. Is that it?
Yeah, she's forcibly relocated from her home in America by her father, or estranged father, and she has to move in with her stepmom.
And they live at a resort.
Stepsister.
And the resort is what?
It's kind of haunted. No,
but it's a horror movie.
It's
though.
kind of a front for something going on.
For something awful going on, isn't it, Michael?
Something unsettling going on.
All right, CUCKOO is that movie. The Instigators is another film. Matt Damon, Casey Affleck, directed by Doug Liman. It's got Hung Chow in it, Alfred Molina, Ron Perlman, Ving Rhames. How could it miss?
Don't forget Toby Jones. What can I say?
I cannot believe this isn't going to be great, Michael.
Why are you yelling?
Is it possible that you yourself might have been having a bad day when you saw this and don't realize how great a movie this is?
Why are you yelling?
It's just surprisingly drab compared to all the firepower there.
All right, drab's a ding word. That's The Instigators. Anyway, It'll be on Apple TV this weekend. Borderlands is the first movie that Michael started with, and it's another adaptation of a video game property. Cate Blanchett, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Gina Gershon, and Bobby Lee, directed by Eli Roth. How is this not the greatest movie ever?
Why are you yelling?
It just isn't. And that wig, Kate, my God, you should really talk to your hair and makeup people.
I'm disgusted that you're disgusted. Your disgustingness has actually rubbed off onto my being disgusted.
Well, I occasionally find a film to rave about, and that just isn't one of them.
Borderlands, again, with all of those great people, is in theaters. But, Michael, you've left us a couple of nuggets. You've left the, I thought Dance First is a nugget.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Revealing.
And Made in England, the films of Powell and Pressburger, real nugget.
Right.
And
good one, a lovely
good one. You liked it.
Personality profile.
Yeah, for a first film.
And CUCKOO, for 2/3 of it, pretty cool. So it's not all bad, but
okay. We may check it out. Michael, we'll check out your stuff at The Voice of San Francisco.
Yeah, thevoicesf.org. An article coming up shortly about a couple of TV shows we've discussed here on the air, the Decameron, and also A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, both of which I enjoyed immensely. We do a little piece on them. And there's other things in the archive, including something about the corporate machinations of the guy over at Max and Warner Brothers Discovery. So
yeah, machinations is a thing. Yeah, I'm seeing with Courtney, we've been watching Sunny, which is the Apple TV thing. It's a series with
Rashida Jones. Right?
Rashida Jones, and I think you recommended it.
I enjoyed the first season.
Yeah. Gosh, it's hard to believe I have to make it through another season. There are just so many seasons of these shows.
It's a season in the sun when it's good, and it's a season of rain and misery when it's not.
He comes and goes on a rainbow. Who can't love him? The great Michael Snyder.
Go
everybody.
Giants!
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.